Greetings, friends. I produced an image on Microsoft Paint of a diagram which I intend to represent the world we live in. This is a follow-up to my recent video, Who Belongs to Safe Nation? Who is on the outside of Safe Nation? So here we have it illustrated in a part diagram, part artwork sort of way, with Safe Nation mainly constituted by the sphere of the Care Bears, which I have chosen to color pink, and also constituted by the sphere of the fish, which I have colored blue because blue is the color of the ocean, and pink for the Care Bears because pink is more effeminate. And although there are, of course, male and female Care Bears, they are slightly more effeminate. And then within the sphere of the Care Bears, there are lumps and insectoids, and I've grouped them near the center of the sphere of Care Bear civilization. And they are obviously a form of degeneracy. I'm not going to go into all the specifics here. There's no in the inner working of fish civilization, are there any searching people, alert people who may leave it and reach some other worldview? Because this is not necessarily the physical world, and I do not refer to actual literal peoples here. There may be some overlap here and there, but that's not the general interpretation. In Care Bear sphere, they have the searching element on the very edge, as if they could go somewhere else, figuratively speaking. But not in the fish, it's a little different. They are, I guess, more collective. And they, of course, merge with the Care Bear sphere, and that produces the weird zone, which I have labeled with a question mark to indicate where it is, because those spheres do come together in reality. And I should mention again the insectoids. You see that some of the insectoid lines are starting to branch off. That is because the insectoid is a new degenerate form of human life on this planet, and it is growing and it is sprouting tendrils to try and grow into other spheres, but it will eventually kill its host, so it won't be able to do that forever. And of course, I will speak about the octopus I guess now, because I mean, the octopus applies to more than just the octopus applies to the whole world. But that here, I spoke in the previous video of the vampires and the reptiles. I'm just representing them as the octopus here because the octopus has its tentacles around the whole world. You could also include the snake, the symbol, or enough symbolism. Leave the rest to your imagination here, but of course it's got its tentacles around the world, and how does it maintain its control? Well, through money, through desire for material comfort, lust, that sort of thing. And it uses the globalist system. But again, I'm leaving it a little open-ended here. I'm not trying to narrow it down too much. And then why have I included orc territory outside the two main spheres of our civilization? Because the orcs represent chaos, this constant, ever-present menace of chaos, which much of the world exists in. And again, I'm not specifically saying it's a physical part of the world. To some extent, yes. To some extent, no. You could always find these tendencies even within the Care Bear or fish sphere, but those are organized against chaos somewhat. Chaos is trying to creep back in. So there's no specific sphere. They're sort of the base level. And you see the fire. The fire exists all around. The flames I drew, that represents that everything can fall back into the chaos. The orcs are there. They obviously can meddle with the fish and the Care Bears, and they meddle with the outlaws, which I haven't discussed yet. But the octopus, I have not shown it controlling the orcs here, but of course the octopus uses the orcs at its own will to either change things within the Care Bear sphere or within the fish, or to attack the outlaws on behalf of the octopus. That does happen. But at the same time, the orcs are more... They don't believe they're actually serving the octopus, although they actually are a lot of the time. But they're more masculine than the fish and the Care Bears. Let me just leave it at that. And then, of course, the desert. And the desert just represents those who you see at the edge of the Care Bear sphere who may leave and search for something else, but they are starving and parched in the desert. They may die. They may go back to where they came from. Not fish, only Care Bears by and large. Maybe some fish might end up in the desert, but it's going to be mostly some of those few searching amongst the edge of the Care Bear sphere. And they may reach the outlaws, who I will discuss, or they may go back, or they may die in the desert. It's not even a real place. It's more of a figurative place that many people find themselves in the world. So finally, at the top, we have the outlaws. This is where some who are searching may reach the outlaws. The outlaws don't actually see themselves as the outlaws, but they're viewed by all the other groups as rebels. And they, as you can see, they are wounded. They are dripping blood. The imagery may somewhat associate with the American flag. That's not intentional. Yes, there's obviously a cross there that is intentional, but it's not necessarily associating with America here. It could. It depends on how you think of it. But of course, it represents something much bigger than that. But the outlaws are probably not, I mean, they're not going to win in the world eventually. I mean, what is winning? So they're probably going to not even exist, and the octopus will win, but then something will come and eat the octopus. And the outlaws know that this world is not the only world. This is not the ultimate world. So I'll just leave it at that. Hasta luego, amigos.